Well, time for the spookies. Can you hear me? Time for the spookies. Oh, there it is.
Who goes there?
Lovely. Okay. So I was playing this, and I did think it was just, I thought it was just like a Sherlock Holmes game, you know, where you like go around and like, you know, you do random shit like investigating and all that sort of stuff. But turns out that it's not just an investigation game. There are like bits of stealth and stuff in it, and like real time walking around and all that sort of thing, and that's scary because I thought like, oh, it's a horror game, but it's, you know, it's restricted, so it'll be okay. It won't be super scary, but it is. Turns out it is. The mission before this,
No.
was
I want to
in an
know what
asylum,
Bradley and Dr.
and I
Colton
had
have to say
escape
about
from
all
it.
this.
And asylums are always scary, you know. They're always scary. So hopefully we don't have too much more of
You're
that.
awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Feel like a piece
Did
of
I
shit.
sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
The day's only starting. Hello, you were
How's
dead
our
a second ago.
fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Over there.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Bradley was fucking dead. You should be dead. My voice level, or else the voice is on the thing. Oh, their dialogue level. Oh. The option didn't come up there. Yeah, okay. Okay. You should be dead. He should be dead. Why can't they say that? He died in the like the level before last, and now he's alive again. And I can't say it because I don't have enough medicine knowledge. You don't need medicine knowledge to say that he was fucking dead.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
It seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand.
The night we went to the Hawkins mansion.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital. and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
You should be dead. Jesus Christ.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Nobody wants to answer anything.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
He fucking... A sort of crisis.
Screaming.
Convulsing.
His body got old.
What in God's name?
He accused Sarah Hawkins of being the culprit.
Sarah Hawkins? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You ever read the story before? You read it? You know the story?
I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a...
That seems wise and...
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
Okay.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this
I
island.
haven't read it either. I was supposed to for a university class, and I never read it. I'll be honest. I was trying to focus on my work, which wasn't focused on this, so, you know. But I think it's loosely adapted. Like, I don't think the story is that long. I think it's like 30 pages, so there's a lot of material to to add. The Shambler. Do you have a book? Ugh. I think I think it's alright. You know, it's fine. I just kind of wanted to play it. It had been on the list of things to play, and it was on sale, so I thought, you know what, we'll give it a go. And it's perfectly fine, you know. It's a perfectly fine game.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
It seems like it's just stealth so far. There's not really any combat.
However, before we go any further,
And it's just
please
sort of
know
like
that my
you get caught.
husband died yesterday.
Back to the
That is
checkpoint,
precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's
you know.
here.
Look who's here. It me. He does a bit, yeah.
You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to know the brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis.
Not much banging.
His
I don't
story
think there's
suggests a link to a case.
not a lot of banging going on, unfortunately.
Well, since this business
H.P.
has got
Lovecraft
nothing
is
to
more
do with
interested
me,
in his
I'll be in your husband's office, Irene.
neoconservative views.
We'll carry on later.
Or not even neoconservative,
Very well,
I guess just
Mr.
conservative. He was more interested in that than
This way,
banging, I
Mr.
guess.
Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
But if there is a dialogue option to do it, you know, I'll give it a go. I'm open to that.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday. I met him at the hospital.
Her husband died like
He
12
spoke to
hours
me
ago,
about
so
Sarah
probably we'll
Hawkins.
do it with her.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he?
Bitter.
Were
Bitter
you
as fuck.
present when he had this attack?
I should have just thought, he was fucking mental. He died screaming right before my eyes.
What happened
must
to
not
your
feel
husband
guilty.
is terrible, miss. The man I met yesterday had lost. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
I did see that, yes. Very good.
Thank you for your kind words.
I actually thought that was confirmed ages ago,
Nobody
but
in
apparently that was just a
hospital
rumor.
would deign
But
to
yeah.
speak them to me. However, it will require more than that. I need to understand. Did you not do it?
Well, to be fair, I feel like people were salty at him. First of all.
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your... But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband.
The death of the Hawken? Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could
People
tell me
probably
what you
send him
expect
death
me,
threats for
and
that.
then leave.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years.
She said, him, her and his sinister paintings, but it was her, because she's talking about the woman who's the artist. That was a problem.
They
That's a
adorn
problem.
his macabre gallery.
Macabre.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler to you?
Well, you can imagine. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege.
Hold on. The shambler is a paint...
Who else to paint such horrors?
It is my only lead at this stage.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I can't...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders.
Okay, we're just gonna go look at his painting, and it's probably Unspeakable Horrors.
The day
So-
the shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
How does he know that? I'm looking at a photo. Oh. Right. So I can recreate a scene here. There we go. Let's recreate a scene. Detective mode activate. Let's see. A hat? Oh, it's a cup. It's not a hat. So it's
Francis
a hat.
Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Oh. Oh. They were friends, were they?
A house of artists. A house of artists.
A house of artists. What's this?
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the shambler. Finally.
Finally.
What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
There we go.
He didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Sounds like she was jealous of Sarah Hawkins. Look at them. They're over there having tea, and she's upset. So, I'd say so. Oh. Oh no. Oh Christ. He tore out his own eyes.
I need to see it.
So Dallin, of course, we all know the Bloodborne stuff, don't we? We all know it. So he had no eyes. And he looked at the painting. And therefore he must not need his eyes to witness a higher truth.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear madam, I acknowledge receipt of this letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you send a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. Oh. Eyes. Right. Let's take a look around this fucking house. What's this thing? Oh. Eyes. Oh. Let's go around our house looking at things. I mean, no. Okay. When you say tea, is there a general understanding of what kind of tea that is?
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Right. Oh, is that it? That painting was moving there. Did you see that? Are they all like that? No. Well, they're all horrible. Like, if I said to someone, would you like a cup of tea?
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me.
If I said that, I would mean
have to burn everything.
black tea.
I never had the courage.
That's what I would mean.
To do it.
Just
Inside my
just
head,
regular black tea is what I would mean.
behind my eyelids.
And then if I had other kinds, I would specify. Yeah, that will be weird, I think. I think that will be unusual. If I brought them like hibiscus and chamomile mixed together. Or just dried weed. Well, all weed's dry, I guess. If I just brought, well, not all weed. If I just brought them weed in tea, or, you know, it was just fucking sawdust strained through hot water, yes, it would be unusual. But if I brought them just black tea with milk, that would be fairly normal.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Oh yeah.
I could use one of those.
Okay. Store sleeping pills.
Strange.
Dear Francis,
For
I beg you to
months,
give away
Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Okay, so she didn't want him to have the painting.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Okay. Oh dear, is that it? Okay. Can't go in there. What's this? Would you read the book? Should I read the book? What's the contents of the book? Oh, it's Unspeakable Horrors. Yeah, well, I'm doing it. It's a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Okay. Oh, Christ. Oh no, I did better. Is this it?
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try.
I've got a lot.
Some can be more. What have you come looking for?
got nothing to do with you, babe.
Bravado. I appreciate the effort.
And you.
What I know does not concern.
Oh, she done me.
I'm
Absolutely
afraid that I
done
must
me.
insist. I'm already trying to convince myself that you have nothing. So help me stick to this, or I'll have to treat you as a...
I'm here on business. She doesn't intend to hang around.
Why, you...
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me.
Okay. Oh. A key. Key to the Sanders Gallery. Why did I need to open the box to get that? Like, she should have just given me the key. Oh, here we go. So I can hide in this closet, which is... scares me a little bit. Like, why do I have to fight? Why do I have to hide in here? Oh yeah. Very good.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Like, when you collect shit like this, you're expecting to go mad in a, you know, in an asylum.
The public entrance to the gallery.
Oh, it's public gallery. Okay. I just kind of want to find the painting and just move on, you know. Just kind of want to find it. Just take that dagger.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Why not? Why not? You know? Interested in all this other old shit. Like, why is he so interested in old weapons? But why is he also interested in,
The
like,
man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
like, half lions, half women sculptures? Why is he interested in that as well? Why is he interested in this little guy with a strangling a goose? You know? Nice. There's the same one again. Here it is. It's the Shambler. Dear. Oh dear. So this is why there are closets to hide in this room, because there's a big monster in it now, so that's good.
What the hell was that?
What are we doing now? It is getting a bit... So what are we doing? So what are we doing? Whoa! But like, what are we doing? What's the objective? Escape?
What the hell was that?
Are we just trying to get out? Because if we are, that's easy. No, apparently we can't do that. Ah, get in, get in! But what are we doing? What's the objective? Tell me, game. Examine the chamber, I've done that. Mission. Don't have a mission. Well, sure, I'll just update my skills then. But what are we doing? What are we doing though, guys? Come on. Do I have any tentacles I can use? No, I don't have any tentacles. So I need to just go and get a dagger and kill the painting with it.
Yeah. I can use this dagger.
There we go. Nope.
Damn it. This dagger.
Wrong one. I hate shit like this again. I actually hate it. Like it makes me just, it makes me just not want to play it. It's just so.
What the hell was that?
Bothered. Just can't be bothered. This one. Nope, not that one either. Great. How the fuck am I supposed to know which one? This one maybe? Yeah, it's just like, great. This one? No, not that one either. Great. Yeah, I know that, asshole. Not that one either. Great. Great. It's just like, what's the point? What's the point? Great. Just trial and error for the different daggers. Great. Cool. No. No, apparently not.
What the hell was that?
Apparently not the one. Just like, what's the point? You know? Just like you got a cool, spooky detective game, you know. And like, after this fucking... Look like, no, I was caught away, yeah. No, I'm just fucking caught. Cool.
What the hell was that?
It's gonna be right behind me, it's gonna get me again. Oh my god. Please be this one, please be this one, please be this one, please be this one. This is the only one I didn't try in the room. Yes. There we go. This is pretty fun. Why don't you come over to here and say that? Hello, he's turning into a painting.
What's the matter with you? You sure you're losing it, Detective? At this... I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm.
It's...
That goes without... If you can't tell the difference between...
I ran, screamed, broke a pane.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I like to look after...
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. And by the way...
It saved my life.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He... From what I saw in the ledger...
The creature. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made... This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk...
You've got spunk. She's crying. She's crying over there. I mean, she's lost her husband. I feel like he's supposed to be Booker, she's supposed to be fucking Elizabeth. Well, that's it.
Where's the bookseller?
Sorry. 1 second. Alright, let's go. Bookshop.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Okay. Got that. Oh, I hate the way this bookshop is. Look at all this. Look at it. How do you find anything?
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
There it is. A Puritan colony, led by Reverend John Wickwood, settled on the island during the 17th century. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first building, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Okay. Cool. 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 What's this? Would you read the book? Absolutely.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
This collection catalogs and classifies creatures that I had never heard of. Divinities from the stars, creatures capable of traveling from one dimension to another. It presents itself as a reference work for the bestiary of the myth, without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. Its pages are covered with phantasmagorical illustrations. Fantastic word. Thanks very much, game. I really enjoyed that. A precise... Who's saying that? Let me go on and read. Who's responsible for this? Which is I can't remember what that's from. It's from a game. If I were to guess what game that phrase is from, I would guess that it's some sort of Assassin's Creed. Who's responsible for this? You know, like they've like found a body. But you know what, Dallin? You know what I'll say to the PS5 being delayed? Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing. You know, like, I just want to say that we have too many games to play. And maybe, like I've always said, wouldn't it maybe just be nice to have like a little, you know, a 6-month break without any brand new games so we could just like catch up on the games that we haven't played? That is true. That's the only one. But I have a massive backlog of games that I haven't played. So maybe if, you know, say they released it maybe in the spring or something, maybe that would be a good thing. And I could just after Ghost of Tsushima, just catch up on everything, you know, and that would be great. I could play the rest of the Yakuza games, just from 2 right up to 7, which is coming out this year. I'll just play it all, you know. I could do that without having to worry about other games coming out. And that wouldn't be so bad. It would be weird though, wouldn't it? Because it would be like they're just like, because then they'll probably just be like sitting on games like those PS5 games will be really polished. I don't think they will. I'm gonna say they won't. I'm just gonna guess no. I don't think they are. I don't think they're gonna delay it. Right. Okay, let's look for more books. What is that? What's the new metals thing? Explain to me what that is. I don't know.
What happened here?
What happened here? Good question.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood.
Door.
Seems like amateur work.
Oh, do they? Okay, cool. That's good.
Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably.
On International Women's Day, men robbing stores of all days.
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
Didn't they switch it back to just a 10-point review scale? Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Not bad.
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What killed all these animals? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the? Charles Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Yeah. That's cool, yeah. No, I like that. Saw they give it a
They
9 as well.
put in a great deal of effort to hide.
Seems like it's getting really good scores.
Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
You do. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother if she is still of this world. Great. Jesus Christ. Okay, cool.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
Nobody can sleep because they're having nightmares.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Okay. Is there a little filing shrine? Bwah, 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 bwah. That's my filing shrine music. Blah.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
They're having nightmares about unspeakable alien gods from beyond the universe. Okay.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
Things That Should Not Be. The famous Metallica song. Or
How many
the,
volumes are there?
the Thing That Should Not Be is that. But,
Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions.
Arkham
How
Editions.
many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. How many volumes are there in this collection?
How many editions
Another
are there?
volume by Arkham Editions.
Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. So we're opening the safe. Arkham Editions. Not Arkham. Arkham. Like Batman Arkham Asylum. You know. Batman shit. Alright, I've just looked it up. As we found out on Prepare to Try, or sorry, Retry, you rotated the number of times, not to the number, so that shouldn't have worked. If it's like 15, you turn it 15 clicks. You don't go to the number 15. So that's not how safes work. Call of Cthulhu makers. Oh, eyes. Chapter 8. I feel like it will probably be a better 30-page short story as it is in other forms. I saw people talking about the Last of Us TV series, and somebody tweeted that they thought they don't really see the point of adapting it, because like, what is the point of adapting? Like, basically, just what's the point of adapting? Period. You know, like, it doesn't need to be adapted. But I guess I agree, but also, like, you know, did the Game of Thrones books need to be adapted? Did, you know, all the Shakespeare plays that I studied, do they need to be adapted? You know, like, I feel like all adaptations can have value, right? The problem with game adaptations is that they're usually bad. But if you could adapt it and it could be a good adaptation, there's no harm in that, is there? Like, Castlevania is an adaptation, but it's really good, you know? Or like, I'm starting to think that the Sonic movie might actually be better than the games, so that is also not a bad adaptation. Um, it does, it will. You know, maybe that'll get people into games. Um, and just because, like, I do agree that, like, I think that we kind of pedestal games as like, oh, we shouldn't adapt them, we shouldn't do it. But like, nobody ever says like, oh, we shouldn't adapt this comic or adapt this book. You know what I mean? Like, no one was like, oh God, like, why are they adapting Civil War for the screen? Like, why are they doing that? That should stay a comic book. I feel like games people are very like, they're like, no, we need to keep the games as games, and like, I agree to an extent, because the games are just generally better than the films that are producing them, and like, trying to do like an Uncharted is stupid, because Uncharted's story isn't amazing, right? We just like Uncharted because we like Nathan Drake and we like the other characters, right? And the gameplay's fun, and it's basically an action movie anyway, so you just don't really need to, you know. So like, that's like, I'd say Uncharted is kind of like an exception, where like, you don't really need to adapt that, but something that's a bit less like action movie, you know, like The Last of Us. That's interesting. And like, The Last of Us is basically just like an adaptation of like The Road anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly the same. It certainly appropriates a lot of ideas that The Road has.
Dr. Colden, this man's...
Yeah, it is the same with The Witcher. It's like, did you need to adapt the Witcher books into games, and did you need to adapt it into another TV series? No, you didn't. But it was good, and like, I really loved it.
Deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
Did you inject him with a tranquilizer?
No, Doctor.
Again? But there was enough...
More and more people are suffering from insomnia. We can't refuse to help.
Of course.
Any idea what this man might be undergoing?
I think in general, I think we've seen it with The Witcher, which is of the books, but you know, it's like because the games are such like they're in the public consciousness right now. It's it might as well be an adaptation of the games, which is interesting. You know, I did a lot about this in my masters with Shakespeare adaptations. So like you hit the point where like an adaptation becomes the like culturally understood form that piece of literature or the film takes on. So like when people think of like Romeo and Juliet, they might just think of the Baz Luhrmann film, or when they think of like Christmas Carol, they might not think of the original book immediately. They'll immediately jump to like Muppets Christmas Carol or something, which I think is probably true for most people. And the same with The Witcher. Like I wouldn't necessarily think of the books, and I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't think of them. So like their reference point for The Witcher is the game. So the TV show might as well just be an adaptation of the game, you know, which is interesting. So it's I don't know, yeah. No, it wouldn't have happened without the games. You're right. Yeah, and so audiences are like aware of that. But it's I think that people should stop being like, oh, it's a video game adaptation. Like adaptations happen literally all the time. Like all Disney movies are adaptations. Like period. They're all adaptations. The Lion King's Hamlet, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast is the Beast and the Beauty or whatever. What is it? La Bête et la Belle. Fucking Winnie the Pooh adaptation. You know, like they're all adaptations. They're not. There's not an original one amongst them. There is. Best adapted screenplay. It's right there. So like people should stop thinking about video games as special. And like, it's a video game adaptation. Adaptations happen all the time. Like if you looked at all those Oscar movies, like even just Oscar movies that are about like Ford v Ferrari, that's just an adaptation of a real life event. You know, it's not like nothing special. This game's an adaptation.
Did you inject
No, of any
Very well. I'll examine him. 30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Severe malnutrition. Swollen and slight protuberances seem... His skin shows abnormal loss of... His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin. Tender at the touch. Slightly sticky.
Tentacles.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
He's developing
I'm not
tentacles.
sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
He's severely dehydrated.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier...
He seemed to feel better?
Yes. Like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
Did you examine his abdomen?
He hasn't eaten in days.
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger... Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that...
Dr. Fuller said not to worry.
You know, In spite of the muscle contraction.
Yes.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's soft. What about his crane?
It's soft at the touch.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his...
I'm sure you'll find it.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms...
What do you mean?
No. This poor man is from our world, all right. And this transformation...
Where could he have gotten such...
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I
He's
know
turning
what
into
you're
an
doing to my
octopus.
patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients. Provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit.
He is
It's your
Eggman.
homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
These are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
Really? What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing. His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Would you
What
be
is
more
Ori?
precise? Cephalopod, perhaps.
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent.
For this man
He's a
and
little,
the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect
He's a
my
little
discovery.
rabbit
These
fox, isn't he?
people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Was that a threat?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder, and my word is of no weight against his.
It's scandalous.
So the idea with Ori is that it's the big owl. The big owl is the one from the first game as a baby, and it's a prequel. But Ori's still the same for some reason. Because it's a weird one, because we don't, none of us like prequels, do we, really? Because like, we already know what happens to Ori, and we already know what the consequences are to this world, you know? Yeah, that's what I was maybe thinking. I guess because we've only seen one owl, haven't we? There's only been one. So I guess the insinuation is that it's the big one as a child.
Oh, that evidence exists.
But I don't
I'm sure
know.
of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find them?
I'd rather not think of...
Of course, Doctor.
But yeah, I guess I would prefer it if it wasn't a prequel. Anyway. I think that would be boring, wouldn't it? Well, it would still be fun,
Chronic insomnia
but I prefer it
Like
to be like a continuation.
of the island.
No, you're pulling my leg.
I love that, like going into Call of Cthulhu, like, you obviously know that Cthulhu is this big octopus thing. It's just, like, well, what is it? What are they turning into? And then it's like, oh, do you think it's, like, the big fucking octopus man on the pause menu? Like,
Not joking.
probably that.
She's alone in the bathroom again.
Hay fever. What's he doing here?
Doctor, please. My chest.
His infusion of a semi-physiological solution doesn't seem to work. He's undergoing a ventricular fibrillation. Nurse? Deborah, come and help me, please.
Remember in Assassin's Creed, the first one, when you go into the hospital and he breaks that guy's legs?
Solution with insulin, calcium, and sodium bicarbonate.
I'll tend to it right away.
Thank you. He's in your hands.
You don't remember that? How do you not remember that? It's in the really shitty city, and the guy escapes from the hospital, and then the guys like break both of his legs, and you can like zoom in on the legs being broken in half, like snap the other way.
What are you talking about?
Doctor, that you?
Yes, it's Dr. Colden.
It's the...
What did you see there?
Nothing. Nothing at all. The floor was open and I fell straight through.
And that's how you broke your back?
Perhaps. No idea. Passed out.
How do you have zero memory of this? This is very memorable. I'll send you the link. This is very, very memorable. This is one of the most memorable things in that whole game.
I'll be along once I've tended to the... You can't keep me here. I'll escape again. No, you won't. Break his legs, both of them.
Yeah. I sent the video to you there.
He broke his back in an accident down by the docks. Mrs. Sanders? Why did nobody tell me about her admission?
Well, Mrs. Sanders is the wife of that guy and she's in the house. So what I'm assuming is that they're taking the people and replacing them with octopus people, and that could be it. Because she's in hospital, and she wasn't in hospital in real life.
What is the boiler room key doing here?
I'll take
The
it
key to
then.
the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it. The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected
Why is that
to
key
find
there
it.
if I can't even take it? Did you play the game? Because that's a very memorable scene.
Intoxication from breathing organic vapors.
Like, if you remember anything out of that game, because a lot of it's boring, it's that.
Another insomniac. I should find the cause for such a widespread trouble.
That's a great little thing, and then you go into the hospital and you're like in the rafters and he's walking around like pretending that the sick people are getting better. Like he's convinced them that they're sick so that you can have control of them. It's really fucked up, but it's a cool little
Dr. Colden.
section, you know. Oh shit, it's him.
Ethan,
Marie,
what are you doing here?
I'm waiting for my medic.
You're not here for...
Am I so... I trust you.
Me too, Ethan.
Well...
Tell me.
I have nightmares. It seems stupid, I know.
Actually, you're not the only one.
No. It's like I'm turned...
With everything that happened to you these last...
Maybe.
Everyone in Darkwater.
Really?
We don't have any medication left.
Oh.
Take care, Ethan.
You too.
It will be. It'll be fresh. Weird,
Why they have us waiting so long?
Weird that we haven't got any Assassin's Creed buzz. Probably at E3 that's not happening this year. And it's probably going to be the Viking one, because that's been leaked a lot, which is really cool. But Ubisoft's restraint with Assassin's Creed recently has been unheard of.
Dr. Fuller always... In theory, this is where we hang the key to the boiler room. Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him.
It is admirable. 2 years since the last one. 2 years.
The key to the boiler room.
And they weren't
Not
forced
where I expected to find it.
to have 2 years. They just did it of their own accord. Because the last game was excellent. The last game was bloody excellent.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
I did know that, yes, it's very good. I would imagine it's not going to be as big as that. It's probably not the full team.
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
You know, it's probably not going to be a full team of... which you would imagine is like thousands of people. But, yeah. It is good.
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too
This year's good, isn't it? But like, it has a lot of like mystery and a lot of sort of.
We're running out of the... I know, Doctor. Once again, can't you... Donovan...
Sort of like all these game delays and like...
waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Now the coronavirus like fucking everything up and like... Like, games delayed, but then also other games delayed without like release dates, like all of Ubisoft's games.
The
like,
answers must be hidden in Fuller's office.
She's a witch.
you know, it's weird.
Hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What
It's temperamental, if I understand
I'm
correctly.
just gonna go to the bathroom. Yo! What else don't you remember about Assassin's Creed 1? Let's talk about that. What else don't you remember? Wait. You could try. You could try and tell me what you don't remember. Alright, I'll tell you, I'm sitting further away from the screen now, so I can read your messages, but I don't know if I can read any of the in-game text, so that's good. I don't like a big 2 liter of Diet Coke, but it was only $1.50 and it's done me 2 days, so that's pretty good. Whereas, you know, that's like, how many cans is that? That's like, it's like 6 cans, and that would be like, you're talking at least £3 for 6 cans, you know? Oh yeah, of course.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly. It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
The Doctor also looked like Hugo Strange from Batman. That's also what I would say.
I have little time for you, Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do. Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless.